At first, nothing about it seemed unusual. Life moved the way it always had, filled with familiar conversations, ordinary routines, and people you believed you understood completely. But slowly, almost invisibly, certain moments began to feel different. A delayed reply here, a strange expression there, a silence that lingered longer than it should have. You brushed it aside, because trust has a way of making warning signs look harmless. Yet beneath those everyday interactions, someone close to you had quietly started observing far more than you realized. They paid attention to your habits, your emotions, the little details you never imagined anyone would memorize. What looked like simple curiosity was becoming something far more unsettling. Without your knowledge, a photo of you was shared in a place you never approved, not as an act of admiration, but as part of someone else's hidden intentions. The shocking part is not only that it happened, but how carefully everything was concealed while it unfolded. Every casual conversation, every unexpected compliment, every moment they seemed unusually interested in your life now carries a different meaning. It feels almost unreal when you replay those memories in your mind, noticing details you overlooked before. The truth is, some people know how to wear kindness like a mask, while quietly shaping situations for their own benefit behind closed doors. And when the realization finally arrives, it changes the way you look at everything around you. Suddenly, the smallest moments begin connecting like pieces of a puzzle you never intended to solve, revealing that what appeared ordinary on the surface may have been carefully planned from the very beginning. They posted your picture in a place where shadows gather, where intentions are rarely pure, and where impressions shape faster than truth. Why would someone do this? Why would they take something as personal as your image and use it without your permission? Because they needed a tool. They needed a way to start a narrative that places you in the center, while quietly pushing you toward a direction you never agreed to walk. And the scariest part is that they are doing it so silently, so gracefully, that if you don't open your eyes now, their plan will unfold before you even notice the first crack. But hold on, because the universe is not letting you face this blind. Something inside you has already felt it, that sudden heaviness in your chest, that instinct telling you something is off, that moment when you looked at your phone and felt like someone else had already looked through your life before you. You brushed it aside because you thought it was overthinking. But it wasn't. It was your inner voice trying to warn you of a plan that's been forming like a quiet storm. The person behind this isn't an enemy at first glance. In fact, they are someone who once stood close, too close. Someone who knows exactly which picture of yours will create the reaction they want from others. Someone who knows your strengths and weaknesses like they were studying you. They are posting your picture in a space where stories twist fast, where viewers don't know you but react instantly, and where even a simple expression can be turned into a tool to corner you emotionally, socially, or mentally. They're counting on the fact that you won't discover their motive until the final moment, when it's too late to reverse what's already been set in motion. Listen, because here comes the part that will make your heartbeat jump. The place where your picture is being posted isn't random, and it isn't public in the traditional sense. It is a place where hidden watchers gather, where people exchange impressions in whispers, where every detail gets analyzed like a secret file. They want reactions, they want assumptions, they want narratives to form without you having a single word to defend yourself. And the most chilling part? They are using your picture as the opening bait to mislead others into believing a story that paints you exactly the way they want. Their intention isn't physical harm, no. It's deeper. It's emotional influence, reputation shaping, mind twisting. They want someone important to see that picture and draw a conclusion that benefits their secret desire. Maybe they want someone to distance themselves from you. Maybe they want someone to question your character. Maybe they want to shift power in their favor by making you appear a certain way. Whatever their motive is, it is personal, calculated, and built on the belief that you will never find out what they're doing behind the curtain. And yet, here you are, hearing it before their plan is complete. The fact that you're listening to this right now means the universe is stepping between you and their hidden intention, pulling you into awareness just before the final move is made. They are posting your picture in a place where only certain people have access, where conversations happen privately, where individuals discuss what they think they know. Someone from that space recognized your image instantly. They felt something was off. They sensed that the person sharing it wasn't doing it out of admiration, but out of a motive that didn't sound noble. That's why this message is reaching you now, because the truth is walking toward you faster than their plan can unfold. My beloved child, before we move forward, breathe for a moment, because what I'm about to reveal in this part is not just information. It is the turning point that separates what you thought was happening from what is actually unfolding behind your back. At first, you thought the photo being shared behind your back was the worst part of the situation. But what makes this story unsettling is the feeling that there may be more happening beneath the surface than you originally realized. It no longer feels like one careless action from a single person. Instead, it seems as if someone quieter and more observant has been standing in the background, watching every reaction, paying attention to every whisper, and waiting for emotions to rise before making another move. While you were focused on getting through your own daily struggles, this unseen influence may have been carefully shaping how others perceive you, almost like a silent narrator rewriting your image without ever speaking openly. What makes situations like this painful is not always the photo itself, but the moment chosen to reveal it. Timing can change how people interpret everything. When someone is already emotionally exhausted, stressed, or vulnerable, even a harmless image can suddenly carry a different meaning in the eyes of others. Lately, you may have even started noticing subtle changes around you. Conversations feel less genuine, replies arrive colder than before, and certain people who once felt close now seem strangely distant. Sometimes it is not because they know the truth, but because they were exposed to a version of events designed to create confusion. That is how quiet misunderstandings grow. A single image, paired with assumptions and silence, can slowly influence the way people think without anyone directly saying something cruel or false. In moments like these, protecting your peace, your confidence, and your ability to speak honestly becomes more important than chasing every rumor surrounding you. And the mastermind behind this knows exactly how to use it against you. But here comes the most unsettling revelation. The individual who posted your picture didn't do it impulsively. They've been waiting. They've been collecting small reactions from people around you, watching who looks curious, who seems confused, who appears worried. Every glance, every whisper, every subtle change in energy, these are their measurements. They're analyzing how close they are to achieving their true intention. And that intention isn't as simple as jealousy, rivalry, or spite. It's something deeper. Something connected to a moment in the past when they felt small next to you, when your presence unintentionally overshadowed them, when your confidence, talent, or innocence made them feel invisible. Ever since that day, they've been quietly crafting a scenario that would reverse the roles, one that would put them in control and leave you scrambling for clarity. That picture is just the opening move of a much larger plan, and the next step will cross into emotional territory they believe you won't be able to defend. Now listen carefully, because this part will tell you exactly why this message is reaching you before the situation escalates. Someone unexpected, someone not close to you but not entirely distant either, has noticed what's going on. They saw your picture posted in that hidden place, and something didn't sit right with them. They sensed an intention that wasn't kind. They sensed that the person posting it wasn't doing so with admiration. Instead, they detected a silent desire to shape how others perceive you. This observer didn't speak up directly, but their energy, their uneasiness, their intuitive discomfort began spreading like a quiet ripple, and the universe caught it. That ripple is the reason you are hearing this now. You are being pulled toward awareness before the final step of their plan can solidify. Before this part ends, here is your essential moment. Your story is about to turn sharply. The person behind the posting is preparing a second move, one far more impactful than the first. They want to use your image to create a narrative that corners you emotionally. They want someone important to question you. They want someone close to hesitate. They want someone you trust to step back at the exact moment you need them most. But the universe is stepping ahead of them. This part is your shield. Your awareness is your protection. My beloved child, the moment you've been unknowingly walking toward is here. Until now, everything was shadows, hints, whispers. But in this part, the mask finally begins to slip from the face of the one orchestrating this quiet storm around you. The person posting your picture didn't stumble into this plan by accident. They've been waiting for a moment when your guard would be low, your focus scattered, your energy divided, and that moment is now. They wanted you distracted, so you wouldn't notice the pattern they were creating behind you. Messages being sent to the wrong people at the right time, glances exchanged in places you didn't expect, and sudden concern from individuals who didn't even know they were being influenced. But destiny has a strange way of stepping between you and betrayal just before the final blow lands, and that's exactly why you're hearing the truth before they think you're ready for it. The identity of this person is not random. In fact, it's someone whose presence you've normalized so much that it no longer triggers caution. Some people never confront you directly because distance gives them cover. They stay near enough to study your behavior, your confidence, and the way others naturally gravitate toward you, yet far enough away to deny every hidden motive they carry. You can feel it in the small moments, the lingering glance when you walk into a room, the sudden silence after your name slips into a conversation, the strange shift in atmosphere that appears without explanation. They have perfected the ability to wear calm expressions while quietly feeding emotions they don't want exposed. What makes this situation even stranger is that your photo was never shared for harmless amusement. It became part of a silent attempt to influence someone else's perception of you. There is a particular person whose attention matters deeply to them, and they desperately wanted that individual to question your character, your image, or your value. Not because you caused harm, but because your presence naturally commands respect they cannot imitate. Yet the plan didn't unfold the way they imagined. The moment your picture reached that hidden circle, unexpected reactions began surfacing. A few people immediately sensed tension behind the post. Others wondered why your image had been shared at all. Some even defended you without fully understanding the story. Those responses created frustration for the person orchestrating everything behind the scenes. Instead of gaining agreement and validation, they were met with suspicion and quiet resistance. The energy they tried to turn against you slowly shifted back toward them. And that is the uncomfortable truth they never prepared for. People can often recognize jealousy long before the jealous person realizes they have revealed it themselves. They notice the hesitation in the person sharing it. They notice the discomfort beneath the surface. And in that moment, the one behind this plan realized something terrifying to them. You are not as unprotected as they assumed. The universe has placed quiet watchers around you, People who may not speak loudly but feel deeply, and their intuition is interfering with the narrative being built against you. Look closely at the interactions happening around you today. Someone who once acted neutral is suddenly extra curious. Someone whose tone used to be casual is now overly cautious. Someone who rarely checked on you is suddenly asking questions that feel rehearsed. These aren't coincidences. They are ripples created by the picture posted behind your back. The person behind all this expected people to doubt you, distance themselves, or judge you silently. But instead, people are becoming suspicious of them. Their plan is shaking. Their confidence is cracking. Their control is slipping. And that's why, right now, they're preparing to escalate. When quiet attempts fail, such people often move to louder ones. Not dangerous, not physical, but emotionally manipulative actions designed to corner you into reacting so they can blame your reaction instead of their own intentions. And hear this clearly, their true motive is personal, deeply personal. It comes from a place of comparison, insecurity, and the fear of losing attention they believe belongs to them. Someone sees you with respect. Someone values your presence. Someone feels drawn to the energy you carry. And the one behind this posting cannot tolerate that. They believe that if your image is twisted just a little, if people begin seeing you differently, then they can reclaim a spotlight they feel slipping out of their hands. But destiny is exposing them brick by brick, whisper by whisper, moment by moment. And in the next part, you will uncover the most shocking piece of all. What emotion inside them triggered this entire plan in the first place? And why the timing is not a coincidence, but a calculated attack on your rising energy. My beloved child, before I reveal the truth you were never supposed to hear, you need to understand one thing. The person behind all this didn't wake up one morning and choose to twist your image. Their motive was born the very moment they realized something they could never accept, that someone important pays more attention to you than to them. This wasn't jealousy in its simple form. This was a silent storm that started building inside them long before they posted your picture anywhere. Every time you walked into the room and someone's eyes naturally shifted toward you, every time your presence unintentionally softened the atmosphere, every time your name brought a warmer reaction than theirs, a crack formed inside their confidence, and instead of healing it, they fed it. They watched you, compared themselves to you, judged themselves through the reflection of your strengths, and slowly began crafting the idea that the only way to regain control was to control how others see you. What triggered them wasn't something you did, it was something they felt. They saw someone admire you, someone they wish admired them instead. That moment ignited a fire of insecurity so sharp that it didn't fade, it grew. They realized they couldn't dim your presence by outshining you, so they tried to dim it by reshaping your image. Posting your picture was not the action of a confident person. It was the move of someone collapsing inside, someone terrified that your light might expose their shadows. They needed a narrative where you appear questionable, confusing, or misunderstood, because if people began doubting you, it would create space for them to feel relevant again. That insecurity is the emotional trigger behind everything happening now. And the moment they pressed upload on that picture, they believed they finally had power, but the universe didn't allow them to hold it for long. But here's where destiny interrupts their calculation. The reactions they expected did not match reality. There comes a moment when people stop believing every quiet story placed in front of them, and this situation began reaching that point faster than expected. What was meant to create doubt around you slowly started making others question the real motive behind it all. Some noticed the strange energy surrounding the repeated sharing of your picture. Others quietly felt that something about it didn't sit right. The more they pushed the narrative, the more obvious the hidden frustration behind it became. What truly bothered them was not your reaction, but the fact that their efforts were no longer fully controlling the way people viewed you. That loss of influence unsettled them deeply. Now they are preparing another attempt, something more dramatic, more emotionally loaded, carefully designed to trigger confusion and make people hesitate before trusting you again. It may appear subtle on the surface, but the intention behind it carries manipulation rather than honesty. Yet before any of that unfolds, this truth arrives for a reason. Life is placing awareness in your hands, so you don't internalize their behavior or mistake their actions as proof that you failed in some way. None of this was created because of your flaws. Their actions were rooted in their own unresolved emotions, their own insecurities, and the discomfort they felt when they could no longer influence your path. What matters now is that your confidence is rebuilding itself naturally. Your presence feels calmer, wiser, and far more grounded than before, and people around you are beginning to recognize that change. The very energy they once believed they could control is now moving beyond their reach, and that realization is becoming impossible for them to ignore. And that pressure is exactly why they're preparing their next move. But destiny wants you to stand steady now. This is your moment to breathe, realign, and step into awareness before their second wave reaches you. My beloved child, the moment has finally arrived to reveal the presence that has been quietly watching over you. The person who saw your picture posted in that hidden space and instantly felt something wasn't right. This observer isn't someone who goes around interfering in other people's matters. They're not the type to gossip, question, or poke into stories that don't belong to them. Yet the moment your picture appeared, something inside them stopped. Something felt wrong. Something felt placed, not natural. They sensed that the person uploading your image wasn't doing it out of affection or admiration, but out of a silent intention to trigger reactions, to create misunderstandings, or to twist how others perceive you. They didn't speak up, didn't confront anyone, didn't expose the poster, because they knew the truth needed to unfold at the right time. Instead, they watched, and their intuition, sharp, sensitive, quietly protective, became the very reason destiny reached out to you before the situation escalated. This observer is not your enemy. They are not part of the plan. In fact, they are the first person who sensed the negative energy attached to your picture. They looked at it and felt a strange heaviness, as if the image was placed with an intention that wasn't honest. They noticed how the caption felt too vague, too crafted, too deliberately open-ended. They noticed how the poster's tone didn't match their usual behavior, and they noticed how certain people reacted with confusion rather than curiosity. These subtle shifts sparked an alarm inside them, an instinct that whispered, "This isn't right. Something is off. Someone is being targeted without knowing it." But instead of creating noise, they chose awareness. They chose silence. They chose observation. And in that silence, a channel opened, a spiritual doorway through which this warning is now reaching you. The observer is someone who carries a naturally protective aura. They may not be close to you, but they are not far either. They've seen you before, maybe in passing, maybe in a conversation, maybe in a moment that felt too small to remember. But even in that brief space, they felt something genuine in you, an authenticity that stands out in a world full of masks. That's why your picture caught their attention. What unsettled people wasn't the post itself, but the quiet meaning hidden beneath it. Something about the situation felt off from the very beginning. The energy surrounding you didn't match the image being subtly pushed forward. and a few people immediately sensed that contradiction. Even if they couldn't explain it clearly, they could feel that the story being shaped around you carried a strange tension. That feeling made them pause and observe more closely. Without intending to, one person in particular became deeply aware of everything unfolding behind the scenes. Their attention alone interrupted the negativity that was slowly trying to build around your name. Then came the moment everything started making sense. The observer no longer focused only on the content being shared. They began noticing the behavior of the person posting it. Tiny details exposed more than words ever could. The replies felt rehearsed. Certain comments were ignored too carefully, while others received immediate reactions, almost as if the poster was trying too hard to control how the situation was perceived. That was the turning point. The observer understood this was never random or harmless. There was emotion attached to every move, and intention hidden behind every interaction. It became clear that the post was designed to reach one specific person rather than entertain an audience. Still, the observer chose silence over confrontation because they recognized the deeper truth underneath it all. Real strength never needs manipulation. The behavior they witnessed didn't come from confidence or power. It came from uncertainty, from someone struggling quietly with their own insecurities while trying to shape how others would see you. And insecure minds often escalate when challenged. So instead, the observer stepped back and allowed the truth to travel to you through a safer path. My beloved child, the moment you've been unconsciously bracing for is approaching faster than you realize. Until now, everything the person posted, every picture, every caption, every subtle twist was just the foundation. A test, a rehearsal, a silent experiment to see how people reacted to your image when it was placed in a space where you had no control. But now they are preparing something far bigger, far sharper, far more emotionally manipulative. Not dangerous, not harmful, but deeply strategic. Their next move is designed to reshape the story entirely, not by attacking you, but by shaping how people feel when they look at you. They've realized the first attempt didn't create the chaos they hoped for. Too many people sensed the discomfort behind their action. Too many individuals hesitated instead of judging you. Too many responses didn't fit the narrative they wanted. So now they're planning something stronger. The next step involves context. They know a single picture alone isn't enough. People need a frame, a hint, a suggestion. So they're preparing to post something again, this time paired with carefully chosen words. Not direct accusations, not bold claims, but subtle, emotionally loaded lines that make others wonder, is something going on behind the scenes? They want people to fill the blanks themselves. They want confusion to do the work. They want reactions created by implication, not evidence. This is how manipulation works, not through loud actions, but through quiet seeds planted in minds that were never meant to question you in the first place. Their goal is simple: create doubt without being blamed for creating it. But destiny is revealing their next move before they can make it. They are planning to post a second image, or maybe even the same picture again, but this time accompanied by a caption that sounds mysterious on the surface, but is crafted to provoke curiosity. Something like, "People are not who they appear to be," or "Some truths come out at the right time." Ambiguous, innocent looking, yet heavy enough to make others pause. Heavy enough to make someone specific reconsider what they thought they knew about you. The person doing this isn't interested in truth. They're interested in reactions. They want someone in particular to see that post and think twice about you. They want to plant a shadow over your reputation without ever stating anything directly. What they don't realize, however, is that the universe is intervening ahead of time. They thought the timing would work in their favor. The entire setup depended on catching you distracted, emotionally drained, and unaware before the next wave of confusion could hit. That's how people like this operate. Quiet manipulation, carefully staged reactions, and subtle moves designed to make you question your own instincts. But something shifted before their plan could fully unfold. Long before the next message, the next post, or the next performance appeared, your intuition already sensed the tension hiding underneath it all. That uneasy feeling wasn't random. It was your awareness waking up before the damage could spread further. Now you're no longer stepping into the situation blindly. You're watching it from a clearer position, and that changes everything. People who depend on control struggle the moment someone begins seeing through the act. What happens next will reveal far more about them than it ever could about you. Their words may try to sound convincing, but the pressure behind them will be impossible to hide. The confidence will feel rehearsed. The innocence will appear overly calculated. Even the people who once stayed uncertain will start noticing the cracks beneath the performance. Instead of questioning you, they'll quietly begin questioning the person trying so hard to control the story. Desperation has a way of exposing itself no matter how polished the image appears on the surface. And once that energy starts slipping, it becomes difficult to pull back together. The balance is already changing. Their influence is weakening little by little, and the more they try to force the narrative, the more obvious their true motives become. Soon, even silent observers will recognize what's really been happening behind the scenes.